Hi, beautiful people. I'm an intuitive healer, an old soul living in a young person's body. My name is Pure Noble. I've created this safe space to talk about love, healing, and spirituality, and to remind you that you are never alone. And there is always somebody who loves you. Me. If you want to join this safe space, feel free to subscribe, okay? I love you. All right, beautiful people, thank you for being here today. Today, I'm going to tell you about my life story. I'm going to give it to you in documentary style just so you can focus on what I'm saying, and I'll give you images and things like that over the years. And then I'll come back and I'll give you the three things that I really want you to take away from this, okay? So we're going to class, okay? Class is in session. Get your tea. Get your gardening supplies if whatever it is that you need to make yourself comfortable, okay? Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you when it's over. Hi, beautiful people. I did forget while I was recording to put a trigger warning. My story is one of a lot of ups and downs, and there will be talk of violence, explicit content, adult content. So, just want to preface that if you are not in a good headspace or you are easily triggered and have a hard time getting back to self and grounding, I recommend watching this video when you have the energy to do so. I love you so much. Okay, now let's get into it. Growing up, I lived in a home that had a lot of yelling and exposure to things I was too young to understand, and sometimes even physical violence. It was chaotic and confusing. And as a kid, my body knew it didn't feel right, but I didn't realize how much of it I bring with me into adulthood, especially into my relationships. Looking back, there's so many things I wish I could tell my younger self, lessons I had to learn the hard way. I'm ready to share my journey and how I've made it through with a smile and with grace. It hasn't always been easy, but it's been so worth it. And with time, patience, and experience, we can all learn from our own stories, especially the ones from others. We're so much more alike than we realize, and everyone is carrying something. And if nobody is there for you, please know this: your body is there for you. It gets up every single day, even when you don't want to. So keep going. Now, let's get back to my life in the Sunshine State. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, raised by a single mom who really did the best that she could. She worked hard to provide a better life for us. She put me in cheerleading when I was little and tried to make holidays special, took me to concerts, and even earned her master's degree to provide a better life for us. I know she loved us. I know she wanted to give us what she never had. But that love felt materialistic. It wasn't the kind of love a child needs, that pure emotional love. And it's not because she didn't care, but it's because she didn't know how to give it. Her own childhood pain would shape the way she showed up as a mom. Before my sister was born, life was a mix. I remember the good times like going to my auntie's games and road trips to Atlanta, nights at friends' houses. But I also remember seeing things I shouldn't have. Nights where we'd stay at a man's house and all sleep in the same bed. I'd wake up to intimate things happening. Not to me, but my mom and the man. Things I didn't fully understand, but I knew it didn't feel right. So I would just lay there and pretending to be asleep, pretending I didn't notice. When my mom got with my little sister's dad, that's when the yelling really started and the inappropriate moments continued. Some nights would start out so innocent. We'd go to Blockbuster or Hollywood Videos, and I'd be so excited to pick out a movie. And my stepbrother and I would be on the floor, and our parents on the bed. We'd all fall asleep eventually, and we'd wake up in the middle of the night, and our parents would be on the bed, being intimate, while we're still in the room. I didn't know how to process that, so I just endured it. The arguments, the screaming, things being slammed. I remember being on the phone with friends having to put the phone on mute because the fighting was so loud in the background. It became the norm. I started yelling and screaming when I didn't feel heard in the house. I even began self-harming. It was a very toxic home environment. It wasn't all bad though. There were quiet mornings when I'd wake up first and make breakfast for everybody. Even though I was just a kid, something in me always wanted to take care of other people, whether it be packing my mom's lunches or putting her stuff in the car to make things easier, or helping my sister with her homework so my mom can stop asking, how many apples did Johnny have? I had musical theater and chorus as my outlets, and they really gave me joy and creativity, something to pour myself into. So, yeah, my childhood was messy, it was complicated, and sometimes really painful. It was drama, darling. No wonder I'm a thespian. Yet, I miss those mornings filled with pancakes and family dinners and laughter. Those were glimpses of peace and little sparks of light. The chaos, though, really left its mark. I brought the yelling and cussing and fussing into my own relationships. I felt I had to yell to be heard, or people please to keep the peace, or do things I didn't want to do just so people wouldn't leave me. Like my first serious boyfriend. I was a sophomore in high school dating a senior. He went to another school, and I lost my virginity to him because he was older and already sexually active. I thought I had to do that to keep him, but he cheated, and it was back and forth for a long 3 years. Arguments with the other girl on Twitter and her friends getting involved. There were a lot of nights crying myself to sleep. When I turned 18, I moved out of my mom's house, and honestly, that's when things got even rougher. I got into pornography. I was sleeping in friends' beds or even with men just to have somewhere to stay or have a meal. I moved back home for a while, got a job, and ended up going to community college, but I wasn't happy. I was skipping class. I didn't like the major. And plus, everything was the same at home again, so I left. By 20, I was working in clubs as a bottle girl. I even secretly danced as a stripper. On the outside, it looked fun, fast life, money, parties, celebrities, athletes. But inside, I was empty. I was tired. Tired of waking up hungover. Tired of smoking so much that I'd sleep the day away. Tired of selling my body. None of it fulfilled me anymore. I got evicted after my roommate betrayed me. So I put everything in storage and I moved back home again. I changed who I followed on social media, started looking at affirmations. I even went to a psychiatrist and got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I started taking medicine, picked up 2 jobs, one through a temp agency and another one at a grocery store that I would walk to. I thought that things were improving with my emotional, outburst until I tried to get my things out of storage and my mom wasn't hearing me. A big argument erupted, and in my pain, I mentioned suicidal thoughts. I was met with disregard by my stepdad and then my mom. And in the heat of it, I spit in his face. He attacked me, and so I called the police. In Florida, somebody always has to go to jail in a domestic violence case, though. And that night, it was me. Spending the night in jail was a wake up call. It made me realize I couldn't keep letting anger run my life. And then I met a guy through a friend at work, and at first we were inseparable. He asked me to move in with him, and it felt like a way out. So within 2 months, I was moved in, and boy, did I quickly realize I had walked right into the same kind of toxic relationship I grew up watching, with yelling, screaming, and even physical violence. During the pandemic lockdowns, though, it only got worse. And when he broke my collarbone, I knew this is not who I am. This is not what I want, and clearly I don't value myself. That's when I turned inward. I started stretching, walking, being with my thoughts. I explored healing practices. I even got a past life regression, which completely shifted my perspective. It showed me that what I was carrying wasn't just my pain, but the pain of all my other lifetimes, and that I have power, and also everything I went through had a purpose. I found the courage to leave him, even though it was while he was away, and I did leave majority of my things behind. And also the people that helped me did turn out to be a cult, but I got away. And what I really was searching for was family, love, and validation. That experience taught me how easy it is to fall into the wrong arms when you don't know your worth. I ended up back with my mom for a while, but old wounds were triggered again, especially when she invalidated the things I went through as a kid. I eventually went to stay with my dad and my paternal grandmother, but even there I faced inappropriate behavior. My dad, who was never in my life, but we were getting to know each other, he tried to sleep with me. And my paternal grandmother didn't believe me. That made me realize I cannot keep running to broken people hoping that they'll give me safety. So I left. I moved to Iowa. Iowa started quietly. I moved there to help my sister and brother in law with my nephew. And for a while, it was just us. Simple days, family, stillness. But in that stillness, life got real. I started dating again and found myself in a relationship built on lies. Not long after it ended, I realized I was pregnant, and I made the decision to end the pregnancy. My sister couldn't accept that. She pulled away completely, and I lost her and my connection to my nephew. Two people I loved deeply. That broke me for a while. I felt abandoned. But in that isolation, I leaned into God, meditation, yoga, and I started building a relationship with myself. I realized that even when everyone else steps back, divine love never does. Eventually, I started to find my rhythm again, got a job at Starbucks, and made some new friends. Started performing and singing again, but life had more lessons waiting. I crossed boundaries I shouldn't have with my manager at another job, and it was messy, confusing, and painful. I had to face the truth about what I was seeking: love, validation, escape. Then something happened at work that made me feel violated. I reported it and I wasn't taken seriously. That was my breaking point. I quit on the spot and I hit rock bottom financially. I reached out for help through a community fundraiser and people really showed up for me. I had just enough to get by, but immediately after I got a notice that pushed me out of my apartment. I prayed and God made it clear it's time to go. So I sold almost everything I owned, packed what I could, and moved to Los Angeles with faith as my only plan. Since being here, everything has shifted. Opportunities, healing, alignment. All of it came once I surrendered. I use my voice now through storytelling, intuitive healing, and singing to help others remember their light. But you know that God's love is forever. Don't look like that. He has not forsaken you. Even when you think it's not going right, He'll put someone in your life like me, like you, because you are changing the world. You are a star from above. You got this, you got the look, you got everything you need.
And I believe I got the tunes. God knows I got the tunes. I got the tunes. And I love you.
And I love you. I love you. You got this. Pick that head up. Pick it up. You got this. Keep going, Jeremy. Yes. Wow, what a beautiful day. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up, Jeremy. I love you. Florida taught me resilience and strength. Iowa taught me truth and surrender. Los Angeles is teaching me purpose and trust. And through it all, I've learned that when you follow divine guidance, you're never walking alone. Healing isn't just about leaving people or places. It's finding the peace that you've been chasing was inside you all along. That's my story, guys. Messy, complicated, sometimes painful, but it's mine. It taught me resilience. It taught me how to care for people. It taught me how to find small pockets of peace when life felt unfair. And it taught me this: even when life doesn't feel safe, even when it doesn't feel fair, you can survive it. You can grow from it, and you can find light. and you can create your own kind of peace. I realize healing isn't about erasing the past, it's about loving the person who survived it. And you made it. All right, beautiful people. I know that was a lot, and I thank you so much for watching that with me. And it really feels like I watched my life over again, you know, through doing this process of creating this YouTube channel because I wanted to, let you all know who I am before I just come in here, telling you what to do. And telling you what to do with love. I can only plant the seed. It is up to you to water it, okay? So let's take a sip of our tea, and I want to let you know three things that I want you to remember, okay? All right, beautiful people. The first thing that I want you to remember is that cycles can be broken. Okay, let me say it again. Cycles can be broken. Okay, just because you grew up in chaos and dysfunction, it doesn't mean that you have to continue that. And my story shows that when life, triggers you and stress and trials comes, it's up to us to recognize those patterns so that we can break those cycles. The second thing I want you to remember is that healing begins within. Fast life and relationships and toxic communities and substances are not going to bring you that true peace that you're looking for. I found that the healing that I craved came from that solitude, breath work, yoga, affirmations, and really connecting with God. And that helped me really connect with the creator inside of myself and really find me and realize that everything that I've been looking for was always within. So I want you to remember that. All right, beautiful people. Last but certainly not least, number three, resilience is built in the dark. Okay. All those things that, were negative and I thought, oh, they're happening to me. They were actually happening for me. Okay. So that I can realize who I was all along and I can realize my strength and my resilience and have compassion for other people. And eventually, you do get tired. So you start to realize, like, oh, wait, this is happening for a reason. What can I learn from this? Okay. So resilience is built in the dark. All right, beautiful people. If you grew up in a home like mine, please know this. You are not broken. You are not unworthy. And you don't have to keep repeating what you were shown. You can choose you. You can still find the light inside of you because there is a kind, gentle, loving, creative soul inside of you that just wants to be seen and loved, okay? And the world is waiting for you. So, where you at, baby? I hope my story has inspired you to be the best version of yourself and to know that you don't have to look like what you're going through and you don't have to act like or look like what you have been through. Okay, beautiful people? I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me today. And if this story inspired you and you would like to stay here and enjoy this safe space with me and the community that we're building, please don't forget to subscribe and send it to someone who really needs this message. I love you so, 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 so much. Go out and be the best you that you can possibly be. And I'll see you next week at the same time.